Okay, social media. Do it for the likes. um, I'll start off by saying I remember many years ago when I was watching this video of the great scientist Michio Kaku giving a little rundown of civilizations from his perspective, from his research, from his projections of us as human beings into the future. And he spoke of civilizations on these levels, level 1 civilizations, and what their attributes are, level 2 and level 3. And I remember laughing when he he spoke about us last as being level 0. Level 0. And he said that he spoke about our attributes. And one thing I do remember him saying was that how we will communicate, and that the internet is our phone system, the new phone system, to get us to that level. One of the things that we're going to need to do to get to level 1. This is a basic thing, but the internet. And of course, with the internet came social media. I remember social media from, the inception, the MySpace days. I didn't have a MySpace account. At least I don't think I had a MySpace account. But I do remember in university when Facebook was being developed, and we were one of the first universities to get on Facebook. And at that point in time, it was only for certain universities. As social media is, worked its way into the fabric of society, it has definitely brought some things to light for me personally. It brought out a lot of the good in society, and a lot of the bad as well. Now, I can't really talk about social media and its rampant misuse without bringing up what I've always realized since a child as one of the fundamental parts, intrinsic part of being a human being, right? And that is, human beings have a fundamental, it's like we're creatures of relation, right? We care very deeply about what other people think about us. And that affects our lives tremendously. Some people would, view this as a bad thing. I view it as a good thing. That if not managed properly, can be a bad thing. And so here we have it. 2020, we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, all this stuff, right? Over the past years, first of all, personally, no one that I know within the past, oh man, if I met you within the past 8 years, I do not believe that you're on I stopped adding people on social media a long time ago. Matter of fact, if anyone is on my Facebook, which is pretty much the only thing that I do use, you know, it's because I basically keep people on there from, say, a university that I really have no other way of talking to, and some family, and very few people that I, actually know in real life. And the reason for that is I never wanted social media to be a part of my day. I never wanted it to be something that I use to any great extent. Periodically, for many months, over the past years, I would disable my Facebook account for like 6 months, give or take, right? And the reason is because I go through life pretty much as an observer. Since a child, really. And I kind of like to step out of the scene of life and look down objectively on what's really happening. Apart from the fact that a lot of the original people from Facebook came out many years later and said, you know what? When we were creating this thing, it's not only engineers. We didn't just hire engineers to work on this thing. We hired psychologists. We hired people to find out what are those little ticks that human beings have, that people have, that we could play on, that we could make them hooked. And when you look at it, for instance, through the lens of my own eyes, what I would notice is that I'm enjoying the good things that I'm seeing, vacations and drinks and the beach and success and all these beautiful things. And I started it, it started to become noticeable to me that the interaction with all of these people is nothing close to what to the interactions that I'm having with people in real life. But not only is that true, but what's also true is that those people on my Facebook might be people I knew from a while back. But even looking back, my interaction with them and the whole presentation is completely different from how it was when I actually knew and spoke to them in real life. And as I looked into it further, the real problem for me is that people only put the positive. And I view that as a bad thing. If you cannot express what's wrong, if you cannot express that, you're having a bad day or a bad week or a bad year, or your life is not where you want it to be and you want some support from the people that are your friends, all right? Then that's not a good thing. Moreover, that has a psychological effect, right? When you're talking to people on social media, first of all, you cannot have meaningful discourse with people on social media. Forget about discourse. Meaningful dialogue, any form of communication on social media that goes below the general, superficial things that are said, If you discuss real topics, first of all, I point out the fact that real topics are shied away from. And it's shied away from for that very same reason. When you're talking to someone on social media, the difference is you're not talking to that person as themselves. As themselves. You know, you're not talking to that person anymore. You're talking to their public representative. And that public representative is not even is hardly human. Right? It's not like it's the reason for that is this. No one likes to be wrong. No one. But the thing is, it's okay to be wrong. As we're living, our day-to-day lives, one of the things that we should all be doing, regardless of where we are in life, is trying to learn. That's one of the beautiful things about life. To be humble enough to realize that regardless of your accomplishments, you could learn from anything, and certainly anyone. The problem is when you're talking to someone on social media, they're now thinking or using that aspect of themselves that I spoke about earlier in this video that cares very deeply about other people and what other people think about them. So you certainly cannot come and try to show them to be wrong in any way, to even suggest that they might be wrong. To suggest that everything about them is not perfect is a problem. And you could find that someone that you know in real life that you normally would not have an argument with, it's not the same thing on social media. So where do we go from here? Well, how I look at social media, it's like the roads and cars were created and just given to us. We didn't have to take any driver's licenses. We just went out, bought a car, and started, rummaging through the streets. Of course, there's going to be a lot of accidents, and we're going to be driving. Some people are going to believe that we're supposed to be on the left. Some people are going to be, think that we're supposed to be driving on the right, and basically there's going to be chaos. It's what happened with social media. We've come a long way technologically as human beings in the past 100+ years. Socially, however, we remain stagnant. And that's the fundamental part of why social media has even caused people to die. It's led to so much negative things happening, both events, tragic events, and also because it's such an important and major part of the fabric of society, it's affecting people, its users, because they think that they need to have this public persona. It's a human thing. And I think that, that's pretty sad. Currently my Facebook is disabled again. It's pretty sad. I think that people are going to just need to realize through time that it's okay to communicate on social media the same way you would over the phone and in real life, talking one-to-one with each of those people. You could do it in a group like that. That's fine. If those people really are your friends, they're not going to, some of them will out you. Let's just be honest. You know, we're dealing with multiple issues here. But, you know, you should have real friends on your social media. You know, you shouldn't add people there. One of the things that you probably shouldn't do is add people that, now personally, I just happen to be one of the people that, you know, I don't really let what anyone else, you know, anyone else's feelings bother me. Like, I value opinions, but different opinions, and, you know, I have friends of all, you know, persuasions. But the thing is, we're just going to need to, you know, do different things. Add people that, not people with the same ideas. Not people, not an echo chamber, right? Add people to your social media that you can talk to that are really your friends. Start there, you know, and let it be a positive thing. You know, watch some of those videos. I would suggest that anyone that uses social media, at least watch some of those videos of people that used to, you know, and important people, you know, higher ups that used to work for Facebook, for instance. Go watch one of their TED Talks or something and see what their concerns are. See why they suggest that we don't use social media at all. You know? But as it is right now, you know, and the reason why I'm making this video, it's really having a profound impact on us and our children, and is really going to be an important part of how we move forward as a society. You know, so as you, just from, you know, my opinion, as you use social media, don't be afraid. You have your opinion. Other people are allowed to have their opinion as well. Do not expect other people to share your thoughts, right? And if someone requires you to share their thought, you know, it's not your problem, right? So, you know, I would say the fundamental part of using social media properly, I'm not going to, you know, say here what, you know, what you should do. What I'm saying, you know, my only advice in using social media properly is to learn yourself, you know, learn about who you are, and come to the conclusion that other people and their opinion of you should not dictate who you are. You shouldn't need their approval. While approval is good, you shouldn't require, you know, everyone's approval. You shouldn't be afraid that something, as long as you could rationalize something, you know, it's okay to be offended. It's okay to offend people, right? And stop being afraid. Don't be afraid. And as long as we realize that, then those interactions on social media will start being more similar to the way that we present ourselves. Don't be afraid, too afraid of what other people think about you. You know, that will set you free. And, you know, just learn to value your own ideas and opinions, and equally value the opinions and ideas of other people. And that, I think, will be a really good start for us to be able to start using social media properly and start being able to post the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you truly have friends on social media, guess what? They will pick you up when you're down. You know, they'll smile with you when you're happy, and at the very least, you'll really start learning who your actual friends are. All right, that's it.